Welcome to Vault of 15, your number one top 15 list maker. In this episode, we'll descend into the chilling world of abandoned America, places where time has stopped, but shadows remain. From ghost towns to forgotten prisons, these sites are more than ruins. They're reminders of tragedy, mystery, and the strange beauty of decay. Let's count down the 15 creepiest abandoned places in America. Number 15. Centralia, Pennsylvania. Beneath the quiet surface of Centralia, an underground fire has been burning since 1962. It began in a mine shaft, and despite countless attempts to extinguish it, the flames still rage below. The fire spread under streets, melted foundations, and released poisonous gases, forcing nearly all residents to flee. Today, only a handful remain, their homes surrounded by eerie emptiness. The infamous Graffiti Highway, a cracked and buckled road covered in colorful spray paint, winds through what's left of town. Smoke still seeps from vents in the ground, and at night the faint glow of fire can sometimes be seen below the earth. Centralia feels post-apocalyptic, a ghost town haunted not by spirits, but by the eternal blaze beneath. Number 14. Six Flags, New Orleans, Louisiana. What was once filled with screams of joy now echoes with silence. Six Flags, New Orleans was devastated by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Floodwaters swallowed the park, submerging roller coasters, rides, and food stands. When the waters receded, they left destruction in their wake, and the park never reopened. Today, twisted metal rusts under the Louisiana sun, Ferris wheels stand still, and faded signs with cheerful cartoon characters leer at visitors brave enough to sneak inside. Nature has reclaimed the grounds, with weeds curling through cracked pavement and trees growing through ruined attractions. Locals whisper that the silence hides something darker, faint laughter and carnival music that no longer exists. The park remains one of the eeriest reminders of how quickly joy can turn into desolation. Number 13. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This massive fortress once revolutionized prison design with its radial cell blocks meant to inspire penitence. But inside, the reality was grim. Solitary confinement, echoing halls, and the looming Gothic towers made Eastern State Penitentiary one of the harshest prisons of its time. Famous inmates like Al Capone spent time here, though even privilege couldn't soften the isolation. Abandoned since 1971, the prison now stands frozen in decay. Paint peels from the walls, chains rust, and sunlight filters through shattered ceilings. Visitors often report hearing footsteps echoing behind them, shadowy figures darting into cells, and eerie whispers in the cold, damp air. It has become a hot spot for paranormal investigations, its haunted reputation nearly as legendary as its criminal past. Number 12. Hudson River State Hospital, New York. Perched on a hill in Poughkeepsie, the Hudson River State Hospital was once a sprawling asylum designed in Grand Gothic style. Built in the 19th century, it was meant to be a place of healing, but like many asylums, it became overcrowded and infamous for mistreatment. Patients lived in long, echoing corridors, their cries often unheard. When it closed in the 1990s, the complex was left to rot. Today, its imposing towers loom over cracked courtyards, windows shattered, roofs collapsing in on themselves. Inside, beds lie rusting, files scatter across the floors, and staircases lead into pitch-black shadows. The atmosphere is suffocating, as if the despair of its past patients never left. Paranormal investigators call it one of the most haunted places in New York, and even locals avoid it at night. Number 11. Michigan Central Station, Detroit, Michigan. When it opened in 1913, Michigan Central Station was a cathedral of travel, with marble columns, vaulted ceilings, and gilded staircases. But as Detroit declined, so did its station. Passenger service ended in 1988, and the once grand hub became a hollow shell. For decades, it stood abandoned, its windows shattered, pigeons nesting in the rafters, graffiti covering its walls. Urban explorers described it as walking into a post-apocalyptic palace, beautiful in ruin, but unsettling in its emptiness. Stories spread of voices echoing through its grand concourse when no one was there. Though parts of it are now being restored, the memory of its long years as a ghostly giant still lingers, making it one of Detroit's most haunting landmarks. Number 10. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, West Virginia. Standing tall with stone walls and endless windows, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum looks like a castle, but its history is far darker. Opened in the mid-1800s, it was built to hold 250 patients. By the 1950s, it crammed in over 2,000. Conditions deteriorated and horror stories spread. Patients wandering the halls naked, others chained to beds, and some subjected to brutal lobotomies. The asylum closed in 1994, but the shadows of its past remain. Today, peeling paint, rusted gurneys, and long, echoing corridors give the sense that time has simply paused. Paranormal investigators claim it is alive with activity. Apparitions dart across hallways, whispers echo from the lobotomy room, and shadows linger in the deserted wings. For many, walking inside feels like stepping into the memory of suffering that refuses to fade. Number 9. Cahaba, Alabama. Cahaba was once Alabama's state capital, a thriving riverside town in the early 1800s. But repeated flooding and outbreaks of yellow fever drove its residents away. By the Civil War, it was already in decline, later used as a prison camp for captured Union soldiers. After the war, it became a ghost town, its buildings abandoned to nature. Today, visitors wander through broken wells, moss-covered ruins, in a cemetery with cracked headstones leaning under the weight of time. Locals claim to see lantern lights drifting among the graves and hear faint sounds of horses and carriages moving through empty streets. Known as Alabama's most haunted ghost town, Cahaba feels like a place where echoes of the past refuse to die history and haunting locked together in silence. Number 8. Dogpatch USA, Arkansas. This quirky theme park opened in the late 1960s based on the Lyle Abner comic strip. It was filled with cartoonish rides, rustic attractions, and live performances. But it never attracted enough visitors and fell into financial ruin. By the 1990s, Dogpatch was abandoned, its laughter silenced. Today, it's an unsettling sight. Fiberglass mascots grin eerily through weeds, wooden buildings collapse into themselves, and rides rust quietly in the Ozark forests. The cheerful cartoon characters, faded but still grinning, give the place a bizarre, sinister vibe. Urban explorers who sneak in often say it feels less like a theme park and more like a forgotten dream turned nightmare. Though plans have surfaced to restore it, Dogpatch remains a decaying relic of entertainment lost to time. Number 7. Rhyolite, Nevada. Rhyolite rose quickly during the gold rush of the early 1900s. In just a few years, it boasted fine hotels, banks, a school, and even electricity, luxuries rare for desert towns. But as quickly as it bloomed, it withered. By 1920, the mines were empty, and Rhyolite was deserted. Today, skeletal stone buildings still stand in the desert sun, a bank with empty windows, a jail with rusting bars, and the famous Bottle House, built from thousands of glass bottles. The silence of the desert amplifies its emptiness. Visitors often describe a heavy, oppressive atmosphere, as if the ghost town remembers the lives and losses of its short but intense existence. Under the vast Nevada sky, Rhyolite feels like a graveyard of dreams, a town swallowed by the sands of time. Number 6. Rolling Hills Asylum, New York. Originally built as a poorhouse in the 1820s, Rolling Hills later became an asylum for the mentally ill, the elderly, and criminals. It gained a reputation for cruelty and despair, with stories of neglect and suffering filling its history. After it closed, the asylum was left in ruin, but its eerie energy never left. Long, dark corridors stretch endlessly, lined with broken doors and peeling walls. The morgue, with its rusted drawers, is said to be especially active, with visitors reporting whispers and cold touches in the dark. The shadow hallway is infamous, where a towering black figure has been seen stalking those who dare to enter. Today, Rolling Hills is one of the most visited haunted sites in New York, where the line between history and haunting blurs with every step. Number 5. Garnet, Montana. High in the Rocky Mountains, Garnet was once a bustling mining town. In the late 1800s, it had saloons, hotels, and shops, a lively place for prospectors chasing fortune. But as the mines ran dry, families moved away, and by the 1940s, Garnet stood nearly silent. Today, the wooden structures remain, frozen in time. Empty saloons still hold bar stools. Dusty bottles sit behind cracked counters, and the hotel looks ready to host guests who will never come. The silence is heavy, broken only by creaking floorboards and the wind whistling through broken windows. Visitors often report feeling watched, as though unseen eyes follow them from inside the abandoned houses. Garnet is eerie not just for what has been lost, but for how much remains, a ghost town where time has stood still. Number 4. The Queen Mary, California. Once a luxury ocean liner, the Queen Mary carried celebrities, royalty, and soldiers across the Atlantic. Retired in the 1960s, it now sits permanently docked in Long Beach. While parts have been restored into a hotel and museum, many sections remain sealed and untouched for decades. In the dark bowels of the ship, rust spreads across machinery, paint peels from cabin walls, and narrow hallways echo with ghostly footsteps. The ship's haunted reputation is legendary. Guests have reported the cries of children near the old pool, figures in 1940s uniforms wandering the decks, and voices echoing through empty staterooms. Even crew members avoid certain areas after dark. The Queen Mary stands as both a monument to history and one of the most haunted abandoned vessels in the world. We are now moving on to the top 3 of the list. If you have made it this far, please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to Vault of 15. Number 3. Body, California. Body was once a thriving Wild West mining town, known for lawlessness and gold. At its peak, it held thousands of residents, saloons on every corner, and a reputation for violence. But when the gold ran out, Body fell into decline. By the mid-20th century, it was abandoned, preserved in a state known as arrested decay. Today, visitors can walk through its empty streets, peering into homes filled with furniture, toys, and dishes, as if the residents had simply vanished. The ghost town's eerie silence is broken only by the wind sweeping across the Sierra Nevada. Legends say Bodie is cursed. Anyone who steals so much as a nail from the town is doomed with misfortune until it's returned. It's a chilling reminder of ambition, greed, and the ghosts left behind. Number 2. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Kentucky. In the early 1900s, tuberculosis ravaged America, and Waverly Hills Sanatorium became a place of last resort for the sick. Thousands died here, their bodies discreetly transported through the infamous body chute to avoid frightening other patients. The hospital closed in the 1960s, but its reputation for suffering remained. Today, the enormous building is crumbling. Endless hallways echo with emptiness, windows gape open to the elements, and rusting equipment lies scattered in the dark. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures, hearing disembodied screams, and feeling sudden chills in the death tunnel. Paranormal investigators call it one of the most haunted locations in the world. Waverly Hills is more than abandoned. It's a graveyard of memories, soaked into the very walls. Number 1. Alcatraz Island, San Francisco, California. Once the most feared prison in America, Alcatraz housed notorious criminals like Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly. Surrounded by icy waters and strong currents, escape was nearly impossible. But life inside was harsher than the waters outside. Inmates endured isolation, punishment, and endless silence in the dreaded D Block. When the prison closed in 1963, the island was abandoned, left to decay. Today, parts of Alcatraz are open for tours, but many sections remain locked. Dark corridors with rusting bars, collapsing ceilings, and cells that once held broken men. Visitors often report the sound of clanging cell doors, footsteps echoing in empty halls and whispers in the night. Alcatraz is more than a ruin. It's a monument to despair, still alive with echoes of its haunted past. From ghost towns swallowed by time to prisons echoing with unseen voices, these abandoned places prove that silence can be more chilling than sound. They are monuments to history, tragedy, and the unknown, places where the past refuses to die. We hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you for watching. And remember, truth is in the list.